Hey guys, it is Friday, which means we're here to tell you about the 5 biggest things that happened in gaming this week, or just the stories we spotted that we wanted to talk about. If there's a story we don't mention that you want to talk about, be sure to put it in the comment section below. But for now, here's what we've got for you. You should say something, I just said all the words. Dan?
Go!
So nobody likes piracy, but we as consumers tend to not like DRM either. And when Sega came out saying that Sonic Mania was going to have the de novo anti-tamper software on it, when the Steam page previously did not list any such thing, it upset a lot of people.
It did, but it's now been cracked, so don't worry about it.
Well, it's been cracked if you want to pirate it,
If you want to pirate
it. Shouldn't.
Definitely, because it's a very good game, but it's been cracked. It took 8 days.
Yeah, it took 8 days to crack, which is still not the fastest a game has been cracked. That goes to Tekken 7, which was cracked in a matter of 4 days.
Mm-hmm. And then after that was Rime, which was 5 days.
That's right, and Resident Evil 7 also took 5 days. I mean, of course we don't endorse piracy, but it's interesting that a few of those games got to a point, particularly Rime, where once it had been cracked, the developers just took the de novo software off. They were like, well, what's the point? You know, the whole point is it's anti-tamper, and you know, once that's been nullified, there's no point having it on there. So now that Sonic Mania has been cracked, there's question over whether that's going to happen for Sega as well, whether they're going to take the de novo software off. Do let us know what you think about DRM in that comment box, and in the meantime, please enjoy this entertaining tweet from goodoldgames.com, who tweeted back to the PR manager of Sonic Mania asking for feedback on DRM. Nice one. Dan, you've played American McGee's Alice.
I have. I've only played the first one. And it's not great. I played Madness Returns. I played the first 10 minutes of Madness Returns, and that was like a marked improvement. I think the problem with the first Alice game is it's been, how long, when did it come out? Like 12, 13 years ago?
It's
longer?
Way longer than that.
Far out.
Well, the sequel came out in 2011. I'm big fans of both games. I love those worlds, I love those characters. And the reason we're talking about it is that American McGee has come out and said he's interested in making a third game. This is after years of him saying, there's nothing I can do, stop asking me to make another game, because EA owns the rights.
It looks like he's going to try and pitch a new game to EA, Alice 3, which he's tentatively calling Alice Asylum.
Yeah, so he's got like a whole document that he wants to put together with artwork and design plans and outline of what the game's going to be, and like kind of specs on what he thinks financially is going to be required, and just a general business plan. So the point is, if they can get that together and it looks like it's going to work from his perspective, they'll send it off to EA and cross our fingers.
Who knows? Maybe there'll be more Alice, but maybe I can play the third one. I'd really like to play an Alice game when it comes out. That would be really exciting to me, because they got some absolutely wonderful design. Yeah,
it's really awesome. And I mean, if you're really excited about it, Dan appears to be low to medium excited. I'm very excited, but if you're very excited as well, there is a mailing list you can join if you want to express your support. It looks like Americans trying to prove that there's still an audience out there for Alice games, and when we did mention this earlier in the week, you guys seemed crazy excited, which is great, because I thought this was a really underground game. So Dan, it's Destiny week and everyone is playing Destiny.
They sure are. I'm playing too much of it. I was up until 10:30 p.m., way past my bedtime of 9 p.m. Playing last night. But the Nightfall strike, we know what it's going to be this week. The modifiers have been revealed, what the strike's going to be, and there's also 3 challenges that you can achieve when you do the Nightfall. So here's what, for those who don't know what a Nightfall is a super hard version of an existing strike with a bunch of modifiers involved. So think like skulls from Halo, where you can do, it'll have like more enemies, or enemies are only vulnerable to headshots, stuff like that.
Okay.
So this week, the Nightfall strike is the arms dealer, in which you need to shut down the operations of an ironmonger providing weapons to the Red Legion. I don't know what that means. Sounds pretty fun though. But the modifiers are the exciting part, and this week the modifiers are some new ones. There's Prism. So the way Prism works is attacks that match the focus element do increase damage, and attacks that don't match the focus element don't do damage. So let me put that in plain English.
What on earth is the focus element? I don't know what it is.
So if a dude's got a blue shield and you shoot him with a gun that has a blue element, you're gonna hurt him more. If you shoot him with one that's got a red element or an orange one that's solar, it's not gonna hurt him as bad. The other new modifier is called Time Warp, which puts the Nightfall on a timer, and the only way to extend the timer is to get kills of enemies up to a certain point. So that's pretty cool, and that actually feeds into some of the challenges. One of the challenges tasks you with completing the Nightfall with 5 minutes left on the clock. And then there's Unbroken, in which you have to finish the Nightfall with less than 3 deaths. And finally, Trash the Thresher, in which you have to take down a Thresher during one of the fights. I don't know what a Thresher is. So if you guys are interested in partying up, and just to remind everyone, for the Nightfalls, make sure you've partied up before you start, because anyone who jumps into a Nightfall in progress might not get rewards. That's a bug that Bungie is aware of, and they're going to be looking at fixing in the coming weeks and days and stuff. But yeah, party up, get on that Nightfall,
Dan,
get some loot.
Understood about 40% of what you just said.
Well, it's great. That space shooting. Take that, aliens. All last weekend, all I did was play the Call of Duty World War II beta, and it was quite different from the first weekend.
Yeah.
So that was the second and final weekend of the closed beta for Call of Duty World War II. Sledgehammer Games made a bunch of changes, and it looks like they're going to be taking all the feedback that they got from that and putting those changes into the full release of the game. So in the second weekend for Team Deathmatch, they made some changes. They upped the score limit from 75 to 100. And they found that a lot of people weren't actually reaching that kill limit. I mean, I was in a lot of games of Team Deathmatch that didn't ever come close to getting to that 100 score limit. So they're looking at bringing that back down to 75, but they are waiting on feedback. They're also looking at changing the time that it takes from sprinting to then aim down sights of your weapon, because as it stands now, it was actually too slow. So a lot of people found that they were running around like madmen. They couldn't get their guns up high fast enough. If they saw someone, if anyone was camping, they'd take him out fast. So it kind of rewarded that camping, slower paced gameplay, which is not really what you want in a Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
And the new Arkan map drew some criticism for its lack of long sight lines, and it only had medium sight lines, and it was more of a close quarters map, but they're looking at changing that. But again, all of this is, they haven't said exactly what they're going to change, so it sounds like it's going to be a bit more, because they've still got some time until it comes out in November.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a bit more changes to multiplayer to hopefully make it what you guys are all after.
Cool.
Jess, what's Mario?
Mario is a red hat plumber man if you go to a costume shop that can't afford the licensing.
I'll tell you what he's not.
What?
He's not a plumber.
Well, plumber was one of the things I just said,
Oh.
so that's shocking. They're going to have to redo their non-licensed name.
They absolutely are. Nintendo has updated their Japanese website to say Mario is no longer a plumber. He just does anything cool.
But he's in pipes all the time.
Well, you see, the way it came about, according to Shigeru Miyamoto, is the reason why they said he was a plumber was because a lot of the sections in Super Mario Brothers had him underground. So they were like, oh, he's a plumber. In Donkey Kong, for instance, he was a carpenter. In Mario Kart, he's, I guess, a cart driver.
Cart driver.
In Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, he is a murderer.
Yeah, but basically, I think they're trying to remove themselves from the plumber aesthetic. Maybe plumbers aren't cool anymore. Well, I mean, cool is the operative word, because the rewritten description of his character just says, like, Mario's all-round sporty. He's a tennis player. He's like into all the cool sports, and he does everything cool.
It basically reads like Mario's Tinder profile, which I'm not super down with. I just want to remind everybody that Mario is a portly, mature gentleman who dresses up as a cat and walks around in all fours in one of the games. So, you know, not sure if that's super cool.
Isn't it?
I don't know.
Because it says it is in the official description.
Look out, dresses up as a bee, climbs all over a giant bee. Mario, coolest guy out there.
I mean, is Mario cool? I think this is a good question. I think he's pretty cool.
No, Mario's not cool. Mario is not at all cool.
He's so cheery.
Mario's goofy.
He says, "Let's go."
He does say "Let's go."
I like
think
that.
The cool one is definitely Luigi, because he's away from the spotlight. Luigi's like, oh,
Luigi is the opposite of cool.
No way, man. Luigi's like, Luigi's got some quiet confidence to him.
I agree that he's a king underdog, and I prefer Luigi as well. But like, for what is cool, like Luigi's not popular.
Excuse me?
No one likes Luigi in Mario Kingdom Rabbids. The Rabbids can't even remember his name. No, sorry, Toad can't even remember his name. He calls him Lewis. Lewis!
So I don't know where to land on this. Frankly, I think Mario's never actually held a job in his life. I think he's just some sort of collecting some sort of welfare. The dole, as we call it in Australia. He's down there every Thursday with his can of Coke, getting his check, and then going off on crazy adventures with his friends down in the Mushroom Kingdom. But let us know what you reckon. Do you think will Mario always be a plumber to you, or is he now just the coolest man in the world? That's everything we have for you this week, so enjoy your weekend. It's going to be a lovely weekend down here in Australia, and I hope it's lovely everywhere else. We'll be back on Monday, and you can subscribe to see us every day of the working week for all the news you'll ever need.
Bye.
They're the Mario Brothers, and plumbing's their game. They're not like the others who get all the fame. If your sink's in trouble, you can call them on the double, and pretty soon, you'll be hooked on the brothers. That rap, now woefully, factually incorrect. Nintendo's changed Mario's profession from plumber to anything cool. Why am I talking like this?